Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, which is the government of heaven set up here on earth on earth as it is in heaven. All right, it's being set up by our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, who the world fraudulently and falsely calls Jesus Christ. All right, and to the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of those heathen nations, the Israelite foreigners. All right, this is not a black only or a color thing at all, but an Israelite thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. Be patient. The Lord is coming to gather up his elect, for the end is at hand. All right, Jacob's trouble is upon us. I'm going to read this disclaimer, section 107. Copyright disclaimer: under section 107 of the Copyright Act, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. I'm going to play a few seconds of 40 Acres official trailer. All right, because it is setting the stage. The stage is being set for the great insurrection, for the civil unrest, the racial unrest, and America is preparing for a genocide upon Jacob, both the northern and southern kingdom. All right, it has already started with the northern kingdom. I'm going to show you the receipts. And these camps that are being built are being housed to eliminate, bring the numbers down, re-educate, and then enslave the few jakes that they leave left, because they want to bring back slavery and make America white all over. Mawa. Not MAGA, but Mawa. All right. And it just goes to show you that the J-ish are allowing this to happen because they're all the same people. The J is control and rule America, and they're not doing anything against this right ring, because as a matter of fact, your president, who is the leader of this right wing Christian nationalism movement, he converted to Jayism in 2017. Receipts have been shown on that. Yes, you have a J-ish president, DJ Trump. All right. So this just goes to show you that Hagee and all these Christians, they only support the whole J-ish thing because it's all Edomite superiority. Remember who owned the slave ships, all right? And when they were bringing that Christianity nationalism here to these shores of the Americas, and all the genocide that happened in order for them to set themselves up here to be the rulers and governors, and to be the model of what's moral, all right? And quite frankly, they're back in that old spirit. That generation is here again. Okay? They're in that Wisdom of Solomon 2 spirit. So without any further ado, I'm going to play about maybe 20 seconds, 30 at the most of this trailer. All right? And this is E coming to steal and take what is not his own, but yet declare himself the sovereigns.
Shoot first, don't ask questions. We ain't waiting on no revenge. They gonna end up dead anyway. You need help? Please. Oh, yeah. It's right here.
You want us to trust anyone? You can't trust anyone else.
We don't need nothing and nobody.
Get back! Please.
Yeah, E the Invader, man. E the Invader. And this is from the movie 40 Acres and a Mule. Or 40 Acres, the official trailer. That's what it's from. I'm just trying to get something to And it showed you both the northern and the southern kingdom. All right. We're battling these same evil, right-wing, racist Christians. I was just trying to get to that, if I can find it. That one northern kingdom, brother. This guy right here. It's not a clear. It's amazing to me too why this particular thing is so grainy. But nevertheless, the whole Jacob versus Esau is what the whole Bible is about, and that's where we are. As a matter of fact, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Bring out some scriptures here. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2, because we're here, man. 2 and 1, Wisdom of Solomon, and it reads, "For the ungodly said, reason within themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave," which is a lie. The Bible tells you that clearly over and over again. Christianism just ignores it. Christianism is led and benefited Esau, Edom, and Esau, Edom does not want to be responsible for any of their crimes of the past. That way they get to keep the stolen land, property, whatever. Okay? For we are born at all adventure, and we shall hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in a moving of our hearts. With being extinguished, our bodies shall return into ashes, and our spirits shall vanish into the soft air. Our name shall be forgotten in time, and no one shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as a trace of a cloud, and shall be despised as a mist that is driven away in beams of the sun and overcome with the heat thereof. So that whole process is, I'm going to just do as thy wilt, all right, while you're here, because this is all you get. And that's a lie. It says, "For our time is a very shadow, that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again." So they're completely against what the Bible tells you, outright. "Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures as in youth." So basically, we're going to use all the creatures, the people, the beasts, and make humans and beasts alike our beast of burden. All right, for this time that we're here. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part. Our voluptuousness of our voluptuousness, let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion, and our lot is this. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Alligator Alcatraz, Alligator Auschwitz, and all the copyrights that are springing up all over America. There's a second one now being built as I speak in Florida. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found nothing worth. So they're going to $40 billion budget now, and they're going to deputize all these hateful white militias and stuff, and like they put on these masks and these ice masks, and they go out and they commit these atrocities, put people on planes and fly them out over the water and open it, and and it's turning out with the bodies. I'm going to produce the receipts that these people were bound. A lot of them, they were medicated, so they were unconscious when the plane doors opened. Some of them, the cockpits were so cold it's found that some of them had already had hypothermia before they even passed, before their bodies were dropped in the water. And then the Lord brought more than 60 of those bodies back to shore, evidence against Esau, Edom, and DJ Trump, and no one is speaking about it. No one is talking about it. None of them, the malware people. All right? None of them. And why are they doing this? They're doing this because their time is short. They know they have but a short time. And they're locking people up and unaliving them. And that's going to be the modus operatus. This is Revelation 2:10, and it reads, "For none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison." The devil, the deceiver, that's a man. All right, that ye may be tried, and shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. So it's not talking about the spiritual, messenger Satan, the left-hand side angel. It's talking about his counterpart here on earth, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. It tells you right here that the earth was given into the bases of man in Job. It tells you that the earth was given into the hands of the wicked in the book of Job. And then it tells you in the book of Maccabees that when Esau, Edom came into power through Alexander of Macedon, Alexander the Great, evils were increased in the earth. True evil came into the earth when Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, got the dominion. He fell for 1,000 years when Rome fell. All right. And the part of Eurasia that they fraudulently, or part of Asia that they fraudulently call Eurasia or Europe, was ruled over by so-called black people for 1,000 years. And North Africa, in the Renaissance, Esau, Edom got the dominion back. All right. 1,000 years later from the time of the fall of Rome. He got the dominion back, whitewashed the 1,000-year history of people of color ruling all of Eurasia, all right, and North Africa, and different, and basically all their rulership. And he's been on a terror ever since. All right, the dragon that was wounded but did live, that was Rome. That was Esau, Edom, the white man. And now he knows that he has a short time, and he's moving. So let's provide some of these receipts. Get these videos from my helper, the water, again, my beloved. Constantly, and the brother Zahar Yahweh, the water brother, for all the information that you bombard. Brother be flood me with stuff, but hey, it is what it is. There's a lot of good stuff comes out of this, but here we go. And this brother thinks that, we'll talk about him later. Because he's in the right spirit, but he's not in the right spirit because he's looking to help himself. And he's not calling on the name, or he's not looking for the Heavenly Father. All right. And that's the problem with this young brother right here. All right.
I've been posting a lot lately, back to back, whatever the fuck, but I think it's extremely important to document actively what's going on right now in present time. This shit is serious, okay? Okay, the only reason why I want this to get views and shit is because I need people to understand this is going on right now. It's happening. It's not in the future. It's fucking here, right? I posted on Facebook. Understand how serious it has to be for me to post on fucking Facebook. I never post on Facebook. I'm just going to get to the fucking point. I'm going to read you verbatim what I posted on Facebook because I feel like it just sums up everything the way I don't need to elaborate. So sit the fuck down. Listen. This has to be discussed, okay? Here it is. I want to be very blunt and straightforward when I say this. This is the start of an ethnic cleansing on U.S. soil. You can come to this conclusion without supporting either side politically. This is a very simple observation of a series of events and coming to an educated conclusion. When we see white supremacists parade and march through American cities and the federal government do nothing, that is an alarm. Most of them hide their faces and our identity and then return to work as our co-workers and to their homes as our neighbors.
Exactly.
ICE just got a $40 billion budget directly from the federal government, and they're allowed to hide their faces and their identity. They do not have to show any legal paperwork or give you any type of reasoning as to why they are taking people off the streets. The concentration camp in the Everglades is the latest installment of several throughout the country that we have little to no information about, with many more already in the works. They do not let people go check on the conditions of these facilities. They do not let people ensure that their people are safe or that they're being treated humanely. We have no way of tracking anything. You would expect the rest of the federal government to step in, but not only did the federal government just approve a $40 billion budget, as mentioned previously, but the Supreme Court has allowed this administration to defy their own unanimous decision, in addition to allowing ICE to deport people anywhere, not even to where they're from, just wherever they choose to send them, in addition to depowering federal judges to where they can't block executive orders, even if they are unlawful and unconstitutional. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, masked men and women who do not have to identify themselves or give you any reasoning as to why they are taking people off the street or decked out in full combat gear and are legally allowed to take people to concentration camps throughout the country and send them wherever they please with no authority allowed to check on their safety. No due process, no oversight. That is an ethnic cleansing on American soil. That is injustice written into law. When we're all dead and gone, there will be books and movies about what happens now. What did the American people do as their version of the Holocaust unfolded right in front of them in real time? Is slavery not a big enough stain on our history? It's interesting to me how Donald Trump will rightfully categorize the cartel as a terrorist group, confirming that they are an active and powerful threat in South America, but will sign a $40 billion budget into law allowing ICE agents to deport people back to that area. But that same man falsely believes a white genocide is occurring in South Africa. If that white genocide was true, that confirms that there is also a powerful tragedy affecting people's lives in South Africa. But he's not rounding up people here and sending them to South Africa. Instead, he collected over 50 white people and brought them here immediately to save them from said white genocide that isn't even happening in reality. The whites must come in and the others must go, even if it's back to a place where the group I myself confirmed as a terrorist organization known as the cartel is heavily prevalent and powerful. That's what Trump is saying by his actions. They couldn't possibly need asylum as much as these good old white folks from South Africa do, even though we can't find a crumb of evidence to back up our claims of the white genocide occurring there. If you're offended by any of the above, you should have blocked me months ago. I'm not watching a Holocaust unfold on American soil. One being a part of history at all is pitiful enough. One of the top 3 things that pisses me off in modern times is Christians seeing all of this and saying, yup, this is what I voted for. Jesus was an immigrant. Mary fled her homeland to escape the persecution of her son, to seek asylum, so she could have a family and be safe. Her baby you pray to and go worship every single Sunday was an immigrant. It's funny how y'all point the finger to say so many other people are going to hell when you will be right there to confirm their supposed arrival. White supremacists are going to sprint to ICE knowing they don't have to give any type of paperwork or identification and can wear masks with a $40 billion budget. That is an ethnic cleansing right in front of your eyes. When we are all dead and gone, everybody dies. There will be movies and books about what happens right now. Okay, look,
And see, and that's where he's wrong, because America is Babylon the Great, and Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed. And Esau Edom loses this time. All right? So there's not going to be books written about this place at all. This place is going to be a desert. Okay, we're on the verge of World War III. Jacob's trouble is clearly here. All right? And this guy has no faith in the Lord whatsoever. All right? None whatsoever. Okay, this is Psalms, the book of Psalms. 5, and I'm going to read like verses 1 through 6. I'm going to read that whole chapter, but I'm going to read verses 1 through 6 first. And it says, a psalm of David. Give ear to my words, O Yahweh, consider my meditation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God. For unto thee will I pray. My voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Yahweh, in the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. For thou art the God that have, for Salakia, for thou art not a power that have pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. That would be Esau Edom. All right. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasingly. Yahweh will abhor the bloody and deceitful man, the bloody deceitful man who is a sword, which is thy hand. This is it. He doesn't get to whet his sword on the Israelites and on the prophets as he did before. All right. Even the Lord is even going to put the spirit on the 2/3 to turn up and destroy many of these Edomites, man. All right. They're not hiding their hatred anymore. All right. They are all out being racist, both the Jayish and the Christians alike, even though their leaders, the rabbis keep shitting on Christianity, telling you that America is Rome, is his Asaph, which is going to be destroyed by the Lord, which is true. Not acknowledging that they're also Asaph. And at this point, anyone who wants to deny that America is being ruled by these NGOs out of Israel, these people have dual and triple citizenship. These national people, as I like to call them, because they're not really loyal to any particular country. They're loyal to their own interests, and they just use countries as the backdrop to do whatever wickedness that they want to do. All right. So let's play a couple more videos, shorter ones, which that are going into this new alligator Auschwitz. All right, I think it's called landfill or something like that. All right, we'll get some of the receipts on that.
While many people are still in disbelief about alligator Alcatraz and reports that it was supposedly built up within 8 days, many people are not even aware about Camp Blanding, which is a Florida National Guard base that is being fast-tracked to become another detention center right now. It is in Clay County, Florida, and they're saying they're going to be using military land, trailers, and tents to house over 2,000 incoming detainees and undocumented immigrants. I don't know what's going on, guys, but they're building these facilities up quite quickly. If you have not heard about it, they say it is near Stark. It is called Camp Blanding, and they're saying that this is going to be state-run, not federal, which has caused for major concern. And not just that,
they're all in on it together.
The National Guard, they're saying that the facility still needs some work, whether it comes to garbage control, laundry, the food service facilities, but it doesn't fall under legislative order. It falls under executive order because it is the National Guard. So they may be able to build this up just as quickly as alligator Alcatraz. I don't really know what's to come, but these are some jarring claims. This is all alleged. I implore you to do your research, as I can't confirm or deny it, but they're saying that they could start building this up as early as this coming week, and who's to say that it won't be ready in the next couple of days, seeing that alligator Alcatraz was ready within 8 days. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, save this video, go look it up. It is called Camp Blanding.
So she couldn't confirm or deny it, but guess what? Esau Edom did it for her. So we're going to show a news broadcast where they talk about the same thing and pretty much confirm what she said. All right. Meanwhile, that orchestrated weather event, that was one of that controlled weather event that just killed 70 plus people, and they're still searching for bodies. Most of them children, supposedly, where that flood hit, they're also going to build detention centers there, knowing that those floods will come, that the hurricanes will come and kill the people in the detention centers. So let's go to the next receipts.
Angie Nixon from Jacksonville, one of the many outspoken critics, made headlines about it on CNN.
They're simply just trying to make modern day concentration camps, which is not what the American people asked for.
And our Sydney Deshawn sat down with Nixon tonight to get her reaction as the state moves forward with this controversial plan. Sydney.
Yeah, guys, I spoke with State Representative Angie Nixon as debate intensifies over Florida's expanding immigration enforcement. She appeared on CNN during coverage of President Trump's visit to a new immigration center in the Everglades, nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz. Now, focus is shifting to a similar facility planned at Camp Blanding. A new $450 million ICE detention facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, now operational in the Everglades, with plans for a second site at Camp Blanding near Stark, just 30 miles south of Jacksonville. The Camp Blanding facility expecting to hold up to 2,000 detainees, according to Governor Ron DeSantis.
Now it's coming to our backyard, and the fact remains that these are makeshift concentration camps.
State Representative Angie Nixon says the project cuts deep, and she believes it's a misuse of taxpayer dollars and a threat to American values.
Especially down south in Alligator Alcatraz. Once upon a time, they were babies that were fed to alligators. So this is personal. And not
right here in America, white people were feeding Negro children to alligators
Nixon argues that
in the turn of the
$450
century.
million should be spent on community needs, not detention centers.
$450 million taxpayer dollars to fund torture. This is just solidifying Donald Trump's blueprint for America, which consists of barbed wire and broken families. What type of country have we become when we're allowing these type of inhumane practices to take place?
President Trump and Governor DeSantis say the facilities are necessary for immigration enforcement and public safety.
Very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious.
There we go with that shit again.
We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation.
During his tour this week, President Trump calling the Everglades site a potential model for other states. And Governor DeSantis hopes other states will follow Florida's lead.
You'll have a lot of people that will deport on their own because they don't want to end up in an Alligator, Alcatraz, or some of those other places. So I think this is a model, but we need other states to step.
State Representative Angie Nixon from Jackson.
So basically what you have are the true illegal immigrants, all right? You know, the murderous genocidal colonizers referring to the inhabitants of the land as aliens that need to self-deport. These people are so proud and so wicked, it's utterly disgusting. It is utterly disgusting. So now let's provide the receipts. Now that it has been proved that these planes that they were using, these cargo planes, were death planes. They truly were death flights. It's no more hearsay. And CNN, ABC, MSNBC, Donald Trump, none of his nobody's talking about it. But the evidence is out there now. All right, there may be some foreign media talking about it, but the United States media is completely silenced, blackout on this info. So here we go.
So there is evidence coming in of more. So as
more bodies.
Unfortunately, it's always like peeling back more layers. And
so wait a second. We were already at 60 plus bodies. All right, that have washed up, shackled, and chained. That were all of the so-called Hispanic descent, which they're holding back from giving up DNA and information about the bodies because they're trying to, well, it's kind of like an Epstein thing. They don't really want it to come out.
More. So with this, we're looking at a projection model. If this is what we think it is and what I think it is, then around July 7th or 8th, some more bodies will start washing ashore. So, thermally confirmed the disposal window, legally admissible. It was the heat spike was confirmed by Ecostratusferous, GOES, and Modus Fusion. Disposal type is a mass overboard discharge or ramp drop.
Ramp
Conclusion,
drop.
Thermally confirmed disposal window, legally admissible. Maritime correlation, refined. 3 vessels flagged with blackout during the critical. 1 reflagged Panamanian vessel observed with Vera's exhaust blown on Sentinel-1 wake. Route pattern consistent with detainee transfer vessel.
Wow.
So the route it takes is consistent with the detainee transfer vessels. Forensic evidence summary, victims were shackled with industrial restraints. Serial numbers were scratched off. GEO and Core Civic will not acknowledge whether they were theirs or not. They don't want to look at them.
Don't show that evidence.
IDs, tattoos, or clothing. Autopsies indicate sedation and unconsciousness before drowning.
Wow.
That was on the report from last night. It was suffocation in confined space.
So the suffocation in confined space was them not giving them oxygen back there, or and we don't know if they were gassed or if they were injected. Whatever it was, it made them pass out. They were unconscious upon the drop. And many of them had hypothermia because it was cold. There's no heat in there and they're flying at high altitudes, yeah.
Asphyxia and hypothermia. We have confirmation today. Autopsies indicate sedation, unconsciousness before drowning. So they were sedated before they were put in the water.
Wow.
Oversuddenly suggest prolonged shipboard containment. So now that's important too. Shipboard containment is another clue as far as also the confined space. So there's a reason. It gives me a place to look because of these black sites. Some of them don't fit. We need a transfer point. That transfer point has to have certain criteria, right? And there was only one that matches the criteria. And then once we start going overheaded, it should be about another 5 hours. We're going to start getting some more information on that, and I'll give you guys the information on that when I get it. If it fits and it correlates. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to give it to you. Because I'm not the news. These are just facts. I can't make 1 + 1 equal anything other than 2. I'm not judge.
I like that.
Just giving you the information. Entry model supports cargo type vehicle. Legal status confirmed violation of Geneva Protocol 2, 1977. Grounds for international complaint. Legal drafting and final stages under AFG War Crimes Protocol.
So you know what? That's enough on that. And I love the fact that he's just giving you all facts, and this is all maritime information, and all these planes were tracked coming from America, and cargo with people who were supposedly being flown out of here, not even being flown to their countries of origin. And what they did was they tracked. You were able to access this information and track the flight of planes. And these planes did like a horseshoe, basically. They left, did a horseshoe, and came back, except for they came back minus their cargo, because the cargo doors opened up and dropped those bodies into the sea, and now you got evidence of it. And this was done by your U.S. government, your sitting president, white supremacists, and Christians. And many of these people that they were doing this to are so-called Christians. All right, these majority of these migrants that they were doing this to are Catholics that believe in the same white Jesus as the people who put them on those planes and did that to them. So, you know, this whole Christianity thing for Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is just a front for him to control you. All right, he doesn't believe in it. It's all made up anyway. The Bible is not about Christians. The Bible is about the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, they were first called Christians because they followed the Hamashiach. Christ is a transliteration, a translation of Hamashiach, anointed one. All right, that's what it means. And many of you are ignorant to that fact, but now you know. That's what Christ means, anointed, the anointed one. And a Christian was people who followed the anointed one, and the people who followed the anointed one were Israelites. Go read it. All right. It wasn't that's another thing, the lie that Christianity has taught, that all the Gentiles are the same. No, there are two sets of Gentiles in the Holy Bible. The Gentiles who are Israelites, who are following the ways of the Gentiles. All right. And then there were the natural Gentile nations. All right. And you have to read with reading comprehension to understand which is which. And there are certain scriptures that make it very clear which is which. All right. And we've covered that 1,000 times over already and proven it. This is Psalms 5 again. And I'm going to start at verse 7. But as for me, I will come into thy house in the multitude of thy mercy, and in thy fear will I worship toward the holy temple. All right, we face the east and pray to Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, the true name of the Lord and his son. All right, of the Lord and our heavenly Father. Lead me, O Yahweh, into righteousness because of my enemies. Make thy way straight before my face. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward parts is very wicked. Their throat is as an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy them, O power. Let them fall by their own counsels. And that's exactly what's happening. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy because thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful. The name is Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai. For thou, Yahweh, will bless the righteous with favor. Wilt thou compass him with the shield, man? So the elect are looking to be shielded from all these things that are happening. We're looking forward to it. Esau, stop being a bitch and pull the trigger. Do what you're going to do. All right? Because the Lord says when they're about to fill their belly, as soon as they're setting up their NWO, when they're getting it off the ground, that's when the Lord is going to appear and do what needs to be done. And all the prophecies are coming to pass. And all these things that you saw, all this information that you saw in this video, the Hebrew Israelites, starting with the men of the great millstone from the apostles and elders on down, have been telling you this on the YouTube since 2007. And most of you are scoffed and talk shit. And now it's here, just as we said, just as the signs showed you. All those signs that we had on the streets, on the highways and byways. All right. We can't even show our signs in Chicago anymore. The only sign we have now is the 12 tribe sign. Because those signs were telling. It was exposing Esau, Edom. All right. Yeah, in the city of Chicago, we can no longer, is a city, they passed a city ordinance. So we couldn't bring out, we can bring out our 12 tribe sign, but that's it. All the signs that showed you the micro C-hip, the signs that showed you the martial law and the internment camps, they stopped us from bringing all those out. And now those things have become a reality. So with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal.